Hey, what's up, guys? It's Cypher from CypherPK.com, and today I am going to be reviewing the ESO Homestead PTS patch notes. These were just released a few minutes ago, and I'm going to try to cover most of the patch notes. It's about 47 pages long, so we might not get through everything. I want to try to pick out the most important aspects and just give you my initial review. This is the first time I'm looking at these notes, so there will be some live reactions to the notes and the changes. Expecting a lot of balance changes, expecting some interesting details about the housing update. And let's just get right into them. Welcome to Elder Scrolls Online, version 2.7.0 featuring Homestead. This free update, so it's not a DLC, introduces our player's housing system with 39 uniquely themed homes you can acquire throughout Tamriel, with over 2,000 individual decorative and furniture options. Plus, furnishing and crafting, you'll have a lot of options available to make your home truly yours. In addition to this massive new update, we've also added master crafting writs, 4 new motifs, and updated several sources of itemization in Cyrodiil and the Imperial City, all of which are detailed below. You'll also find that we've put a focus on improving the balance across all classes and skills, and we look forward to reading your feedback after you've had a chance to try everything out. As always, we've made several fixes and improvements to all previously DLC game packs. Okay. Homestead basics, acquiring a home previewing, the housing editor. This is all Homestead related things, which, by the way, I will be getting into in detail during the PTS testing. Homestead is a patch, even though it's not PvP related. It is very much something I'm very interested in as far as a social aspect of the game, and also potentially incorporating dueling into it as like a private Fight Club styled, environment. So hopefully Homestead hits the nail on the social aspects that I'm looking for. The details and the cosmetics, I mean, that's nice, and I'm sure a lot of people like that type of stuff. Me personally, I'm more focused on the social aspect of housing, and we'll see how that turns out. New features, master crafting writs, new motifs, Imperial City vendors, and Cyrodiil vendors. Really excited about these two in particular. The little sneak peek they posted about a week ago gave some really good details about the Cyrodiil vendors in particular. Quest rewards from towns in Cyrodiil, that's good to hear. Dungeon ready check, Razor Chroma support. Champion point increase, that's expected. DLC game packs, fixes and improvements. All right, Homestead basics. Except for the entry level apartment, which is free after completing a short quest, all of the initially available homes can be purchased with in-game gold or crowns. Okay, so you can buy them with gold or crowns. You may own one of every home, all the way up to all 39 available at launch. That means they'll probably add more homes in the future. Homes are shared across all characters on your account. Homes are split into several tiers by size. Apartments, 3 total, 1 for each alliance. Small homes, 10 total, 1 for each of the 10 playable races. Medium homes, large homes, and mainers, 3 total, 1 for each alliance. Home ownership is tracked in the new housing tab of the collection windows. All 36 homes can all be purchased with either gold or crowns. Homes have limits on the number of items, collectibles, and visitors that may be present, with larger homes having higher caps. Okay. Items, does that mean you can store items? I don't know, but we'll get into it. The number of objects, maybe it's just like the cosmetic objects that you can put in your home. The number of objects you can place in your home is doubled for those with an active ESO Plus membership. In the event your ESO Plus membership lapses, you won't be able to add any additional items to your home until you drop below the regular item cap. Okay. Dueling is allowed in homes, but is disabled inside in rooms or apartments. That's really good. That's really good. That's really good. This is exactly what I needed, because now I can start hosting dueling tournaments inside a player-owned manor or a large home, and I'm sure there will be big areas of space that you can host these without being interrupted by people who are trying to ruin an event. That's the biggest thing for me as far as homes are concerned. I want a place where we could privately duel or host tournaments and whatnot without being interrupted. And if the homes are instanced, that means the ping is going to be very low, which means we'll have minimal lag, hopefully. Pets, assistants, and mounts cannot be summoned inside of homes, but can be placed inside homes as decorations. Once placed, assistants can be used as normal. Acquiring a home. There are 3 ways to acquire a home in Homestead. Purchase the home in the Crown Store for crowns. Open the Crown Store and explore the new housing tab. From there, you can preview and later purchase any of the new homes via crowns. Okay? Find Canthian, the housing broker, to acquire a request that grants you your free apartment. So you get a free apartment for just completing the first initial quest. Find homes scattered across Tamriel. Make sure you have the prerequisites and purchase them for in-game gold. First, you must find the home in-game, click on the door, and follow the purchase instructions. Most homes require you to complete certain prerequisites before you can purchase them for gold. For example, to purchase the Daggerfall Covenant Manor, you must have previously completed the Hero of the Daggerfall Covenant achievement. That's interesting. I see. One thing that's pointing out is placing objects in the house won't update the server collision. So, like, if we were to duel in a house, you'd probably want a more empty house to reduce, like, you know, issues with duels and whatnot. So, that's probably what we'll go for. Homes can be purchased for crowns at any time, bypassing the above requirements. So, if you want to buy a home without doing the achievements, you can just buy it straight up with crowns. The easiest way to preview homes you have not purchased is to go to the new houses section in the Crown Store, highlight the home you want to check out, and click preview. Okay. Home previewing. Okay, we just went through that. Unfurnished homes may be purchased with gold or crowns. Furnished homes may be only purchased with crowns. Each furnished home is pre-decorated with a tasteful selection of our items. Okay. Housing editor. The housing editor contains multiple tabs and categories for ease of asset selection. Home decoration. I'm skimming through this, guys, because you see this little scroll at the top. We're only like 15% down, and usually these videos take a really long time. So we'll try to make it a little bit quicker. I'm sure I will link this in the description. If you want to go into greater detail, you can always read the patch notes for yourself. Because the best way, honestly, to figure out what's going on is to actually get into PTS and go test out the changes for yourself. And that's what we're going to be doing after we go over the patch notes. So we're going to skim over some of this stuff. Specialty, furniture, furnishing, sourcing. A lot of details here for anybody who wants to read. Housing permissions. I need to read this. You can choose to allow or restrict access to each of your homes as desired, and may set different permissions for each of your guilds and on per individual basis. You can even ban specific individuals, nice, while allowing the rest of a guild access, just in case you want to hang out with most of your guildies, but Tony keeps spilling med on your favorite rug. God damn it, Tony. Players with visitor access may interact with your place furnishings, but may not remove anything, whereas those with decorator access may relocate items freely. So you and your buddies can actually work on a place together if you give them decorator access. And that's really cool. So you don't put all the pressure of furnishing a home on one person, and you can have people help you put together a place. I love that. I love that. Other players may not add or remove housing items from your home regardless of their access settings. Okay. As a homeowner, you can set a primary residence. This primary residence is used to determine which home is visited when friends or guildmates try to visit your home while you're offline. When you're online, other players may social jump directly to you in any home, provided they have access to that home. Nice, nice, nice. Homeowners may assign access to visiting players at any time, resulting in the immediate eviction of that player from their home. Get out of here. You can also immediately copy the permission settings of a previous home to any new home when purchasing a new home, and can modify permissions for individual homes. This is perfect. Like these permissions are perfect. Exactly the way I wanted them to be. Screw Tony. Tony's not allowed to come in. I can allow specific people in. I can allow specific people to change things, and I can ban people on the spot. Somebody starts acting up, evicted. You're out, dude. Just leave. Perfect housing permissions. I love this. I love this. I love this. I love this. Like I said earlier, my main concern is about the social aspect, and I think they're doing a really good job on the social aspects of the housing. So I like it. I'm digging it. That's cool. Housing achievements. Okay. List of homes. These are all the homes. Obviously, here at Cypher PK, we don't care about the small stuff. We're going for the big stuff. The Mainers. Daggerfall Overlook, 3.7 million gold. We're going to have to do a fundraiser in the chat. Guys, when this comes out, because I'm not paying that. Like, you guys got to, we all got to chip in, right? We're all going to be living in the same house, the same main. So, just fundraiser when this comes out. Evan Hart and Serenity Falls, 3.7. They're all about 3.7 million. We're definitely going to have a fundraiser. We can't. Faker, where are you at, man? Faker, are you here? Master Crafting Writs. Maximum tier writ reward boxes for all trade skills now have a chance to provide a special invitation to craft a very specific item or set of items. These invitations may require any marsh materials or knowledge associated with the trade skill, even if you don't yet possess it. These invitations are tradable, consumable, and indicate the number of writ vouchers awarded upon successful completion of the contract. The frequency of master writs invites from standard writ boxes is based on the overall associated trade skill mastery. I'm confused. Are these allowing you to craft specific item sets that are not craftable? Is that what's going on here? I would like somebody in the chat to kind of explain this a little bit better. Writ vouchers are a new form of currency awarded exclusively through the completion of master writs. Writ vouchers may be redeemed through purchases from rareless, more difficult, rare, and expensive crafted items provide more writ vouchers. Currently, you can obtain the following items, style items, to legendary furnishing. I'm confused what this is. I'll try to figure out what it is when I get on, but I have no idea. By the way, for the people complaining about the cost, there are some cheaper options. The small homes, the apartments start at 11K. Small homes start at 60K, go all the way up to 73K, I believe. Medium homes are 190K to 300K. Large homes are about 1.2 million gold. These prices make sense, in my opinion. These prices make sense, in my opinion. Like, you start off somewhere, right? You don't want it to be where everybody starts off with a mainer. That would be a little bit. Plus, you can own multiple homes, so like it's a process, right? It is a process. The gold, you can make the gold to buy a medium home in just an hour or 2 or 3 or 1 day of play. If you're, getting Telvar stones, transferring it to gold by purchasing things and selling it, or farming mats or whatever, you can get gold relatively easy, especially for the medium homes. You could probably afford one in 1 day. I don't think I think the prices are on point. In my honest opinion, I think the prices are on point. I don't even have 3.7 million gold, and I know I'm saying that, and I know a majority of the viewers are probably gonna help me put together like a home for the stream. But it makes sense. Like, you don't want everybody and their mother owning a mainer, So these crafting writs, still confused. I'm not going to jump to any conclusions as to what they are. I'll try to figure it out. It seems like very specific items that you can craft with these writs. They're tradable. They're type of currency. I got to figure this out. So I apologize for not completely understanding what this is, but I don't know. I don't know what it is, so I'm not going to jump to any conclusions. We'll figure it out when we get on the PTS. New motifs. Okay, we got new motifs. The Silken Ring, the Mazatoon style, the Regatta, the Ebony style. Cool. You always got to look good when you're PvPing or PvEing. If you don't, your DPS will dip. Trust me. Imperial City Vendors. All right, let's see what this is. The Telvar Greater Lockbox Merchant is now known as the Telvar Equipment Lockbox Merchant. These boxes now contain armor, weapons, and jewelry for every Imperial City set in all traits except Impenetrable and Nirnhond. Their prices have also been reduced. Okay. They now sell jewelry boxes for each Imperial City set item set. These boxes contain a gold quality piece of random jewelry from that item set. Each Imperial City item set does that include Black Rose? Is Black Rose jewelry going to come into play here? That's interesting. I would like to run Black Rose with light armor. Or even medium for that matter. Well, doesn't Black Rose... Okay, no, well, that kind of doesn't make any sense because Black Rose is affected by how many pieces of heavy you're wearing. So wearing medium or light doesn't make any sense. I'm kind of stupid. But you can wear Black Rose on jewelry, which opens up the flexibility of the set. Because currently you can only wear Black Rose on your armor pieces and not on your jewelry or your weapons. So this might make it like it just makes it more flexible. Also, this means jewelry for Shieldbreaker and a few other sets, making them more flexible. Reactive armor, maybe. The Telvar armor and Greater Merchant. The first armor sells the item sets Black Rose, Meritorious Service, okay. The second armor, okay, so they split them up from medium, light, and heavy, I believe. They both sell armor for the item sets available in Imperial City and impenetrable directly to you with no intermediate container item. Okay. In addition to the satchels of alchemical regions introduced in previous update, the Telvar General Merchant now sells the superb Imperial Reward Box, which has been reduced in price. This vendor now also sells Alicus as well. Cyrodiil vendors. The vendors found in the base camp of the alliances in Cyrodiil have changed significantly. Some vendors, finding that their wares simply aren't selling very well, have left for greener pastures. They might return in the future when they need a new market to serve. There is now a regional equipment vendor in the base camps of Cyrodiil. These vendors sell zone bags of an alliance's home zone. We're talking sharpened spinner. We're talking Spriggans. We're talking Sun, I believe. Like all the overland sets are now going to be purchasable with AP bags. Obviously, there's a big component of RNG involved. So you still got to spend quite a bit of AP. But I'm pretty sure in the sneak peek, they said the bags are going to be 5K. Each zone bag offers a random item from a random item set otherwise found in that zone. For instance, the unknown Alakir Desert item container might contain an item from Robes of the Withered Hands, Sword Singer, whatever. These items in the zone bags are typically blue quality with a small chance of being purple quality, so that means you can get purple jewelry from these. Equipment found in zone bags will scale to your level at the moment you open it. Okay, cool. So now we have ways to make money with AP and also acquire gear with alliance points. That's good. There's a bit of RNG involved, which might frustrate some people. But 5K AP, that's about 3 kills worth full value. You could get that quite a bit, and I wouldn't mind a little bit of gambling at the end of a PvP session. That's just my preference. Like, I like that idea of gambling my AP. Some people might not like it. Some people want to buy things directly. But these sets, you can already buy directly via guild traders or other people because these sets are tradable. And with this coming into play, you can expect the price value of these sets to go down quite a bit. Sharpened spinner swords currently sell like what, for like 800k, 700, 600k, 500k. I'm pretty sure with this coming in, the price will drop and they'll be more affordable. So you can either gamble it, try to acquire it through the AP bags, or you can just go directly buy it. And because of this, the prices will go down. They'll be more affordable. So you'll be able to acquire the gear easier. So that's nice. Okay. They sell ruins in exchange for alliance points. Okay. The vendors found in the capturable towns have had their wares slightly modified. The boxes now list which item sets are available inside them. The prices of the containers have been reduced by 75%. Desert Rose, here we go. If you have had a hard time acquiring Desert Rose, they are no longer 50k per box. They are now 75% cheaper. So that means Desert Rose price will also go down for all the people who are complaining that Desert Rose is too expensive. I released 2 builds that use Desert Rose. So, and in my opinion, 50,000 alliance points for a chance to get like a Desert Rose training bow is just absurd. 75% cost decrease. Nice, nice, nice. Desert Rose is going to be available to a lot of people now. And the other sets, of course. But like Desert Rose was my main set that I was trying to get. I mean, that I've acquired from these boxes. Funny thing is, I was about to spend like 1,000,000 alliance points on Desert Rose boxes the other day. I'm glad I didn't. Because of their use elsewhere in Tamriel, we have removed some item set from catchable towns. Okay. Quest rewards. The quest will now reward AP for completion and a reward container that represents the town's wares when captured. These containers have a single item from one of the item sets. The item inside may be green, blue, or rarely purple quality. So you can do these quests and have a chance to receive some of the rewards from that town. Like if you do the quest in Cropsford, you could potentially get a Desert Rose item or whatever items they're selling. And you also get AP. Hopefully not too much AP. I don't want like questers to be like... How much AP is it? Someone said it's 12,500 AP. I don't know if that's true, but we'll test all these things. As Chain Hall and Coral cannot be captured, Chain Hall sources attacker sets and Coral gives defensive sets from the other 3 towns. Okay, so because these guys, they didn't have like merchants. Okay. So you have a chance to get these like sets from 2 different places. Dungeon ready check. Cool. Razor Chroma support. Cool. Champion point increase. Maximum of 600 champion points. Thank God for the OCD people out there. They didn't screw you over. They only raised it by 39 so that you could get the exact 600. Quest will give 250 AP per completion. Okay, that's reasonable. That doesn't change the flow of the Alliance War. It's just a little bit extra AP for completing them. I like that. The champion point experience curve has been automatically adjusted with this new cap. So earlier champion points. Okay, cool. 600 CP. Nice. Even number. Doesn't OCD. Like, doesn't trigger me at all. Available templates. All right. These are for the PTS. All right. We'll log in and check it out. Homestead General. Cool. Crafting. The Master Writs. We'll figure out what that is. Champion system. Let's get into the balance. So far, I like what I see. I like Homestead. I like the housing. I like the social aspect of the housing, the permissions, and the prices. I like all of that. I like the AP bags. I like the Telvar changes. Nothing to complain about so far. Balance changes. Let's get into it. Let us get into it. Oh, so the AP boxes, the boxes that you can buy from the towns, they're going to cost 12,500 alliance points instead of costing the current 50,000 that they cost. That was where the 12,500 was coming from. 12,500 AP is how much like the Desert Rose boxes will cost now, which is a good cost decrease because they were way too expensive considering that you could potentially get a completely, useless item out of it. The Apprentice, Arcane Well, fix an issue where this champion ability would interfere with some, monsters, monster abilities. Fix an issue where, quest zones. Monster abilities. I'm skipping the monster abilities section. Maelstrom Arena perfect run, updated the text, okay. Singleton without dying or leaving the area. That people had some issues about leaving and then coming back and then art and animation. Going through this Alliance War, increase the AP rewards for quests that direct you to capture resources and keeps. Completing a quest to capture a resource will now grant 1,000 AP. Okay, cool. Completing quests from towns will now grant you 250 AP. That's the answer we were looking for. Capturable towns in Cyrodiil now display the status of individual flags on the compass while in the areas of those towns. Okay. Itemization. Fix an issue that caused... Okay. Art. Audio. Combat. AoE changes. Okay, so adjusted the area of effect damage threshold for all abilities. Targets 1 through 6 take 100% of the damage with all secondary effects applied. Targets 7 to 24 take 75% of the damage. This used to be 50%. And targets 25 to 60 take 50%. This used to be 25%. Great changes. Not very drastic. A big step in the right direction. And hopefully, like, this kind of helps smaller groups when they're going against larger numbers and whatnot to be able to output damage. I like this change. Definitely, I think something that people wanted. Reduce the amount of time required to exit combat with another player character to 6 seconds without performing any hostile actions from 30 seconds. So for the people who are like stuck, they can't get on their mount even though the fight already ended, this should help with the in-combat bugs that people are facing. Reduces the maximum amount of ultimate that can be stored to 500 from 1,000. That nerfs, I think the only thing that really affects is overload, right? You used to be able to put 1,000 ultimate and then just unload with overload. So this really affects that mainly, right? The elemental status effect shield now applies minor maim to enemies instead of snaring them. Yes! They're removing a snare. Thank God. The elemental status effect concuss now applies minor vulnerability to enemies instead of minor maim. Attempting to light attack while you are mounted will now dismount you. Increase the duration of the crowd control immunity buff granted after a crowd control expires on you to 7 seconds from 5 seconds. Wow, that's a huge change. So, you know, I actually never knew this was the case. If you get CC'd and you don't CC break, you only used to get a 5-second immunity. And if you CC broke, you got 7 seconds. As long as I've been playing this game, I actually did not know. I always assumed it was 6 seconds because it felt like 5, sometimes felt like 7, so I just rounded it to 6. I did not know that. So now all CC immunity duration is 7 seconds instead of either 5 or 7, depending on if you CC broke or not. Weapon swapping now automatically uncheeses your weapon before performing the swap. Fix an issue where the stun animation would occasionally not display on an enemy when you stun them with a sneak attack. Cool. This happens to me a lot. Fix an issue where the stun from sneak attack was not granting the target crowd control immunity after the stun expired. Nice. I always like seeing CC immunity happen when you get CC'd. Fix numerous ability tooltips. Okay. Heavy attack animation while using dual wield weapons could hitch. It will now appear to be much smoother. Created a new debuff category. Minor. I'm not even going to try. Magic Castile. This is a debuff applied to enemies that restores a flat value of magicka to the attacker every second. 400 magicka every second at CP 160. This is a debuff applied to enemies that restores a flat value of magicka. What is this exactly? Where do you get this minor magicka steel? Okay, it's not Magic Gas Steel. It's Magicka Steel. Sorry, they just put it together. Okay, I'm stupid. I understand what it is now. I apologize. Major Evasion. Reduce this buff category's dodge chance to 15% dodge chance from 20%. Thank you. Thank you for this. Appreciate it. Major Force. Oh, I think minor Magicka Steel is, it might be a part of the poisons. I'm not sure. Major Force. This buff category's critical damage bonus is now an additive bonus instead of multiple bonus. One consistent with all the other critical damage bonuses. But its value has been reduced to a 15% critical damage bonus to compensate from 30%. Okay. Minor Force. Reduce this buff's category's critical damage bonus to 10% from 12%. Minor Lifesteal. This category is now a debuff applied to enemies instead of a buff applied to allies. It now restores a flat value of health to the attacker every second. 600 health every second at CP 160. Dragon Knight. Goddamn. Let's get it. Let's get it. Please. Please. I'm waiting for this. I've been waiting for this for over a year. Burning Embers. Fixed an issue where rank 4 of this morph was not allowing multiple Dragon Knights to apply the damage over time component to the same target. Nice. Fiery Grip. Increase the duration of the major expedition buff granted by this ability in this morph to 8 seconds from 2. That is cool. I'm still not a fan of Fiery Grip because you pull them to you, but then they still have, I mean, they're granted CC immunity. Right? Can you pull yourself to them and not give them CC immunity? Is that a thing, or am I just imagining things? It is still a good buff right here. The 8 seconds is a lot better than the 2. The 2 was just negligible. Like, there was, like, you couldn't even tell. 8 seconds is a lot better than the 2. There is one where you pull to them. Okay. Yeah, there is one where you pull to them. I believe that was like Apachico, right? That's actually good. Inferno. Fix an issue with this ability. Its morphs would display an incorrect spell critical. Lava Whip. Increase the damage from this ability and its morphs by 5%. Standard of Might. This morph now increases your damage done and decreases your damage taken. 12, 13, 14, 15% while standing inside the standard. Wait, this morph now increases your damage done and decreases your damage taken. Wait, so they nerfed Standard of Might? Is there a reason? Let's see. Like, no one was using Standard of Might in the first place, right? So, why would they nerf it? Hopefully there's a reason later in the patch. Coagulating Blood. This morph now heals you for 33% of your missing magicka instead of 33% of your missing health. Whoa. Wait a minute. What is... It's weird. That feels really weird. This morph now heals you for 33% of your missing magicka instead of 33% of your missing health. So if you have like a full magicka pool, like you can't heal? What? Like what if you're like what if you're running like a high recovery DK? Like are you gonna be forced to run low recovery so you run out of magicka? I mean, if you have 45k magicka and you're like low, but like ideally, like okay, so the problem with this is ideally you wanna keep your magicka pool high. As a smart player, you want to be smart with how you're using your magicka. You don't want to just I mean, the other morph is still there, so you can still use the other morph, right? But ideally, you want to be smart with your magicka sustain, and you want to keep your magicka sustain high, right? And with this change, if there's anything that helps DK sustain better, it's just kind of counterproductive in a way. Like if you're smart and you have a high magicka pool and you keep your magicka pool high, then that's cool. But that's gonna hurt you if you're using Coagulating Blood. You're better off using the other morph. Now the problem with the other morph, Green Dragon Blood, is you already get stamina and health recovery from your potions, so it's wasted. Like the health recovery and stamina recovery you get from Green Dragon Blood, you already get that from your potions. If it was a separate buff, if Green Dragon Blood was separate, if the stamina recovery and health recovery you got from Green Dragon Blood wasn't the same buff as potions, it would be a lot more useful. But because it shares the same buffs as potions, it's wasted potential. You don't get to maximize that. This is a bit weird. I don't know how to feel about this. Obviously, it's just the PTS, so like we're gonna test this out and see how it is. But Dragon Blood, this ability in its morphs is now called Critically Strike. Ferocious Leap. This morph now deals flame damage instead of physical damage. Yes, that's actually really nice. That's nice. I like that. Finally, a magicka morph of the leap. Hardened Armor, Spiked Armor. Increase the damage shield value granted by this morph to 15% of your maximum health from 10%. I still don't think people are going to use this over the dot. The dot morph is just pretty useful because you can pull people out of stealth and you apply a dot which could proc things like Scoria and whatnot. Iron Skin, reduce the amount of additional damage you can block to 4% from 5%. Note that due to how percentages are calculated, the total damage blocked at this rank remains unchanged. Okay. Spiked Armor, fix an issue where the civilian morphs would deal their thorn damage when the attacker proc disease or poison damage. Volatile Armor, increase the damage over time component of this morph by approximately 20%. So yeah, this like right here, they're also increasing the dot damage of Volatile. I don't really think Hardened Armor will be used that much. Maybe on like really high health tanks. Like if you have 60k health as a DK, yeah, Hardened Armor seems to be the better pick, but most people are going to just go with Volatile. Earthen Heart, Battle Roar. Significantly revised this passive's ability tooltips to more accurately describe the values of health, magic, and stamina restores based on ultimate cost. Note that decimal values will be truncated from the tooltips, so values restored may be slightly higher than described. Okay, so they nerfed Standard of Might, which was already a heavily underused ultimate. Maybe help me out, PvE players in the chat. Was Standard of Might really good in PvE? Is that why it was nerfed? Was Standard of Might heavily used in PvE? Because this nerf here doesn't make any sense. Like if they nerf this, they should bring the cost from 250 down to 200. It was used in PvE? This is not a nerf? It is. It went from 15%, it went from 20% damage increase and damage reduction down to 15%. The cost is down. The cost has been decreased. Buff the damage, nerf the damage reduction. Oh, wait. No. They made coagulating for Stam DK. I wasn't even thinking about that. I was not even thinking about that. But that doesn't really, because it's 33% of your missing magicka. Stam DKs usually run like what, 10k max magicka? 33% of your missing out of 10k? I don't know if that's quite a bit. It never increased damage done. All they nerfed was the mitigation. No, Standard of Might always increased damage done. Okay, it's a buff. You used to choose between damage or damage reduction. Now it does both. Are you sure about that? I almost want to tell you that you're wrong, because I'm pretty sure Standard of Might used to increase your damage and decrease your damage taken. Like it used to do both. It always did both. Trust me, I've played Magic DK for a really long time. I'm pretty sure it did both. Let's just get into it. Let's carry on. Nightblade. Assassination. Grim Focus. The assassinations will proc from this ability, and the Merciless Resolve Morph now only scales with your spell damage and maximum magic stats. The assassins will proc from this ability and the Merciless Resolve Morph now only scales with your spell damage and max magic stats. So I think that's a nerf to stamina. Manifestation of Terror. The traps summoned by this morph are no longer visible to enemy player characters. That's interesting. The traps summoned by this morph can now fear up to 2 enemies each, up from 1 enemy each. Nice. That's actually pretty cool. Relentless Focus. The Assassination Scorch proc from this morph now only scales with your weapon damage and maximum stamina stats. Okay, so this is the other. Never mind. The first one was for this. The second one was for this. It used to scale based off of your highest stat. Now it just scales based off of purely, if you use a stamina morph, it scales purely off the weapon damage and maximum stamina. And if you use the magicka morph, it scales off of maximum magicka and spell damage. So just making things easy to divide between them. The initial cast of this morph now costs stamina instead of magicka. Interesting. Fixed an issue where the Assassin Scorch proc from this morph was being mitigated off the target's spell resistance instead of their physical resistance. Okay. Shadow. Adjusted the order of the active abilities in the skill line. They now unlock in the following order. Field Strike, Shadow Cloak, Path of Darkness, Aspect of Terror, Summon Shade. So they changed the order. They did this a while back with Magicka DK. Now, I had an issue because my chain grip, the DK's chain fiery grip, I leveled it up and I morphed it on my DK. And when they changed the order, it was no longer morphed. So that kind of like baffled me. Like, I already morphed my chain whip. I've already used both morphs of the chain because it used to be the first ability. I morphed it and I used both morphs. And then when they changed the order of the skill, it was no longer morphed. And I think it's because the XP required for the fourth skill, it costs more than the first skill. So I didn't have enough XP to morph it for the fourth skill, and it became unmorphed. So Shadow Cloak fixed an issue where the invisibility from this ability and its morphs was being broken by certain abilities such as Teleport Strike, Dark Flare, and Weapon Enchantments. These are three really just bad things for Cloak. Teleport Strike always broke you out. Dark Flare. Weapon Enchantments was the main thing because any light attack that was done to you while you were trying to cloak, if it procced the Weapon Enchantment, you were getting pulled out of Cloak. Siphoning, Soul Shred, fixed an issue where the Soul Leech synergy from this ability and source could occasionally heal based on a different source of damage than itself. Increase the cost of the ability and source by approximately 38%. Strife. Is Strife siphoning strikes? Sorcerer, Dark Magic, Encase. Reduce the cost of this ability and its morphs by approximately 6%. Alright. Daedric Summoning. Adjusted the order. Increase the physical and spell resistance of all Daedric Summoning pets by 100%. So pets are stronger. Again, I'm probably never going to play with pets, even with this buff. Like, I'm not a pet player. I don't like to play with pets. Bound Armor. Fix an issue where toggling this ability and its morphs off would dismount you. Daedric Curse. This ability to source will now deal their area of effect damage even if the target dies. Rebate. Fix an issue where rank 2 is passive. Okay, they just fixed the bug here. Summon Storm Atronach. Increase the damage dealt from the pet summoned by this ability and its source by approximately 25%. So Storm Atronach will deal 25% more damage. Cool. Summon Strife is Swallow Soul. Okay, so Swallow Soul cost increase. I see. That was probably needed. Summon Volatile Armor. Increase the duration of this pet's special ability to 8 seconds from 4 seconds, causing it to pulse for 2 extra ticks of damage. Fix an issue where the damage of this morph's special ability was not being increased by Daedric Prey. Summon Winged Twilight. Increase the health of the pet summoned by this ability and its morphs by 100%. Bellicous Curse. Renamed to Haunting Curse. This morph no longer shortens the duration of the curse to 3.5 seconds from 6 seconds. Instead, it causes the curse to echo and trigger one additional time 6 seconds after the first explosion. This morph no longer shortens the duration of the curse to 3.5 seconds from 6 seconds. Instead, it causes the curse to echo and trigger one additional time 6 seconds after the first explosion. So currently, this is like the curse that everybody uses, right? The regular curse. It's going to take 6 seconds to explode. That means like the burst timing is going to be a bit off. You have to wait 6 seconds before it goes off. And then it goes off after 6 seconds after that. So can you can you cast Curse? Hold up. Can you cast Curse? And then as soon as it explodes, recast Curse. And you can have 2 curses going off at the same time? That seems a bit like nerfed in the quickness of it, but then like you can time it to like double explode. When it echoes, does it do the same damage as the first one? Does it count as like another curse? Or the thing about curses, it's not blockable and it's not dodgeable. It's one of those things where like it's not extremely overpowered, but it's one of those abilities that you can't block or dodge. You can only cleanse. And if you cleanse it, we gotta log in and like try this stuff out like as soon as possible. You can stack curses. Hurricane. This morph now deals 10% more damage each tick, down from 15% more damage each tick. The final tick deals 150% more damage as a result, down from 225%. Lightning form. Fix an issue where part of the visual effects of this ability were not being displayed correctly. Hurricane. No. Templar. Adric Spear. Blazing Spear. Increase the duration of this morph to 8 seconds from 6 seconds, causing it to take damage additional 2 times. However, it no longer stuns the enemy when it first hits them. Spear Shards. Decrease the time it takes for the spear from this ability and its source to land after being cast to the target location to 750 milliseconds from 1.1 milliseconds. Dawn's Wrath. Backlash. This ability and its morphs now deal moderate damage when they are initially applied to the enemy. This damage does not contribute to the copied damage delivered at the end of the ability's duration. Eclipse. This ability and the total dark morph can now be placed on an unlimited amount of targets. Whoa. This ability and its morphs will now deal their area of effect damage even if the target dies. This makes me want to get on Templar real quick. I always liked Eclipse because you could reflect with Eclipse. Like it was a nice because you can also reflect like concealed weapons and lava whips. But now you can just apply it to as many people as possible. Power of the Light. Fix an issue where this morph's damage was being mitigated on the target spell resistance. Radiant Destruction. Decreases damage from this ability and its morphs by approximately 21%. Nice. Cool. Sorry if I offend any Templars out there, but it's still gonna hit pretty hard. I guarantee it's still gonna hit pretty hard. So don't worry too much. Just make sure you use it when your opponent is actually in execute range, and you'll hit pretty hard. Just don't try to use it when they're at full health, because it'll still hit. It just won't hit that hard. So just try to use it when they're in execute range, the way the skill was designed to be used, and you might be able to kill somebody with Radiant. Restoring Light, Healing Ritual. This ability and its morphs no longer heal the casting Templar for an additional 30%. Whoa. Lingering Ritual. Rename this morph to Hasty Prayer. This morph no longer applies a small burst of healing after 8 seconds. Instead, it allows you to move and cast ability at full speed. What? Oh, this is the... That little cast thing you do with your hands, right? Radiant Aura. Restoring Aura morph. This morph now increases the radius of the minor magical steel to 25, 26, 27, 28 meters. Restoring Aura. Redesign this ability and the Radiant Aura morph so they continue to grant the minor recovery buffs while slaughtered. Activating this ability also now applies minor magical steel to all enemies in a 12-meter radius around you. All enemies. This is some pretty insane magical sustain right here. So what you're saying is that if you activate its ability, all enemies, it says all enemies in a 12-meter radius, you apply minor magical steel. That means you can take 400 magica per second for every single person in a 12-meter radius. That's actually some insane magica sustain right here. So you just activate it. You got a lot of people around you. You get minor magica steel, which is 400 magica every second. So you get about like 10 to 20 people around you or something like that. Or 5 enemies. That's a lot of magica coming back to you. Like a lot. That sustain is crazy. So they nerfed some aspects of Templar. They definitely nerfed some aspects. But they gave you a really nice sustain option. Like a really, really nice sustain option. You could go ahead and drop that Lich set, replace it with something more damaging, and go to town. This morph no longer decreases the cast time of the ability by 0.2 seconds. Instead, it now fires an additional single target heal after the cast is complete to one ally outside of the ability's normal radius. Okay. Weapon, two-handed. Adjusted the order of the active abilities in the skill line. Okay. Power Bash fixed an issue where this ability and morphs could not proc weapon enchantments. Dual wields adjusted the order. Lacerate, all animations and visual effects will now display properly. Yeah, today I got killed by this ultimate. I didn't even see the animation for it, so that's good. Reduce the cost of this morph to match its base ability. Bow, Hawkeye, increase the amount of times this passive ability can stack to 5 times from 3 times. It continues to increase your damage with bow abilities by 2 to 5% per stack. Rapid Fire, the bow and arrow used for this ability will now point in the same direction. Destruction Staff. Elemental Storm. Fixed an issue where this ability and its morphs could occasionally cause your ground target reticle to become stuck and prevent you from using other abilities. Reduce the damage for this abilities and morphs by 5%. No. No, dude. Elemental Storm, it has a huge radius and it does a lot of damage. The radius is huge and it does a lot of damage. You can't block it, you can't dodge it. Your only option is to just get out. That's your only option. Just run out of it. Or just be a tank and sit there. You got to change something. You either got to make it blockable. Don't make it blockable. Just make the radius smaller. So that it requires the target to actually like really be in the face of their opponent. And it makes it a little bit easier for your opponent to get out of range of the ultimate. Like, I'm all for Magicka getting stronger because stamina has been like wrecking face. But the Destro ultimate is one of those abilities where you get killed by it and you just don't feel good at all. You feel terrible. You feel like you literally didn't have a chance. Because sometimes you don't have a chance. It just happens. You get 2 ticks of it off and you just 16k damage just like that. The radius is huge and the damage is huge. You can't block the damage. You can't dodge the damage. So you got to like get some like... You know? Force Shock. This ability in its morphs can no longer be reflected. Whoa. Beam type attacks cannot be reflected, but are able to be blocked. Force Shock. Dude, DK's... Why would I even use reflective scales anymore? I'm no longer using reflect. I'm not using reflect. Like, first of all, I already don't use reflect because I was hoping reflective scales would be buffed a little bit. But this, I'm definitely not using reflect because if I go against a sorcerer, they're just going to spam Force Shock on me. Oh, man. Elemental Drain. Weakness Elements Morph. This morph no longer restores a flat value of Magicka whenever you deal Flame Frost. Instead, it applies minor Magicka Steel to them. You see that? That's a nerf to... I mean, this is a nerf to PvE, I assume, because no one really uses this in PvP. But minor Magicka Steel to one person, and then you have the Templar ability that gives minor Magicka Steel to, like, what, 20 people if they're around you, right? But I don't know. This is a pretty decent nerf to PvE sustain, right? Elemental Ring. This morph no longer adds a small damage over time component to the ability. Instead, it allows you to cast the ability at a ground targeted location up to 28 meters away. Oh. What? This morph no longer adds damage. It allows you to cast the ability at a ground targeted location up to 28 meters away. Whoa. I don't know how to feel about that. You could just impulse from 28 meters away. That's weird. I don't know how to feel about it. Just kind of confused. Trifocus. This passive ability now taunts the enemy after you use a fully charged Frost Heavy attack. So now you can taunt people with heavy attacks. The passive ability now causes your block to drain Magicka instead of stamina. Whoa, 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 whoa! What? What? This passive ability allows you to block to drain magicka instead of stamina and stops your magic recovery instead of stamina recovery while blocking when you have a Frost Destruction Staff equipped. Frost Destruction Staff. What? That's crazy. That's crazy, man. That just changes the whole game up, dude. I'm going to get a Frost Destruction Staff. I have one. Do I have a Maelstrom Frost Staff? I think I do. I'm pretty sure I do. Okay. Hold up. What if you're running a DK or like any class with it? You're running a class and you're running one hand and shields and you're also running a Frost Staff. So if you're like out of stamina to block, you just swap to your staff and you just like, oh wait, dude, this changes a lot, dude. This just like opens up quite a bit of options as far as magicka is concerned. The problem is, why would you use a flame? I think I have a lightning one, but I could. This doesn't really matter. I have a spinner's Frost Staff as well. So why would you use any other staff, right? Why would you use like flame staff, I guess, because it does flame damage and. But like now sorcerers can block like with their shields, they could just block with like a 50k magical pool or 40k magic. You can just block, dude. I know you lose a like and then your stam recovers and you switch over to one-handed shield again. Keep reading. I got you. Ancient Knowledge. This passive ability no longer decreases the cast time of your Destruction Staff heavy attack. Instead, it grants you a bonus. As long as you have one Destruction Staff ability slotted, this bonus depends on your staff type. Flame Staff, increase your single target damage dealt by 4 to 8%. That's crazy. Frost Staffs, increase the amount of damage you block by 10 to 20%. And reduces the cost of block by 15 or 30%. I'm using a Frost Staff. There's no way I'm not using a Frost Staff. Lightning Staff, increase your area of effect damage dealt by 4 to 8%. You can recover magicka while blocking. Like, it cuts off your magic recovery, but you can recover magicka through it. I mean, I'm using a Frost Staff. I'm going to play a sorcerer or any class with magicka, Frost Staff. I'm going to block with that. I'm just going to block. I have a huge magicka pool and block. You're about to kill a sorcerer? No problem. Just block cast some shields. We gotta test this, man. This seems a bit ridiculous. I'm not gonna lie, it seems a bit ridiculous. Restoration Staff. Force Siphon. This ability and its morphs no longer heal for a flat value of health. Do you apply minor lifesteal? This morph no longer restores 1% of your maximum magicka. It also applies minor magicka steal. These Siphon abilities are getting kind of nerfed. Minor magicka steal is a good, debuff to put on your opponent, but these used to do so much more than just minor magic or minor life. I don't know if people are going to use these. Soul Magic. No, like, listen, this Frost Staff change, you don't have to block the entire time. It's just going to be impossible to run like a magicka class out of stamina, because usually what you do is like, let's say you throw a meteor on them and they start blocking and you get some hits in and then you CC them and they're out of stamina because they blocked a lot of hits. Now they have a Frost Staff. They're going to block and they're only going to lose magicka, which won't really put them in stamina problems, You won't give them stamina problems. Soul Magic. Soul Strike. Remove 350 millisecond of empty channeling time without another tick of damage occurring from when this ability needs morphs. Total damage dealt with these abilities remain unchanged. So basically they just made Soul Strike more efficient in that matter. They just made it more efficient. You're not stuck in the animation for 350 milliseconds. More than you should be. Vampire. Wait, was Dark Deal changed on Sorcerers? Vampire. Oops. Must have said. Clouding Swarm. This morph no longer causes your character to pulse invisibility every second and it is active. Instead, activating the swarm now allows you to use the ability again to instantly teleport to an enemy up to 22 meters away and deal high damage. This teleport can be used as many times as possible in the swarm's duration. What? Wait. This morph no longer causes your character to pulse invisibility every second it is active. Instead, activating the swarm now allows you to use the ability again to instantly teleport to an enemy up to 22 meters away and deal high damage. This teleport can be used as many times as possible within the swarm's duration. You can't. That means you can't escape it because it doesn't cost anything for them just to keep spamming the swarm on you. That doesn't sound right, dude. Werewolf. Fix an issue where this passive ability was being removed when your character died. Rousing Roar. Increase the duration of major brutality buff provided by this. Okay. Cool. That's actually a pretty big buff. Magic and I played high key, right? Guild. Fighters Guild. Circle of Protection. Increase the duration of this ability and the Ring of Preservation morph to 20 seconds from 10 seconds. Rearming Trap. Decrease the damage done by each trap summoned from this morph by 30%. Cool. Increase the duration of this morph to 24 seconds. Mage's Guild. Equilibrium morph balance. Increase the duration of the major resolve and major ward buffs granted by this morph to 20 seconds from 4 seconds. Major resolve and major ward. Cool. Fire Ruin. This is actually a pretty big change. Fire Ruin. Increase the initial damage on this ability and its morphs by approximately 11%. It needed a bigger buff than 11%. Mage Light. Activating this ability while you have a restoration staff equipped will no longer break its animations. Scalding Ruin. Increase the damage over time component of this morph by additional 33%. That's cool. I know, Poco. I know. Undaunted. Blood Altar. Due to the changes to Minor Lifesteal line below, this ability needs morphs now apply Minor Lifesteal to all enemies within the radius instead of allies within the radius. Okay, this actually is interesting. Blood Altar, I forgot the radius on this, but if you throw down a Blood Altar, you apply Minor Lifesteal to all enemies in the radius, which means you're getting 600 health for every enemy in the radius of the Blood Altar. That's actually, like, depending on how many people are in there, you could be getting healed for quite a bit. This might make it viable. Trapping Webs. Fix an issue where the ability and source would critically strike based on your spell damage instead of your weapon critical. Okay. Pretty sure it's 8 meter radius. 8 meter isn't that much, but it could be, like, it could be useful. Alliance War, Emperor. Fix an issue where this passive ability is only increasing the healing received from your own heals instead of all heals. Okay. Reduce the cost of this ability, it's morphs by 50%, revealing Flare. Oh man. Champion System. Riposte. Fix an issue where this champion's ability was triggering 100% of the time when you blocked the melee attack instead of 50%. I knew something was off with this. This procced way too much against certain people. The Lady. Unchained. This ability now reduces the cost of a single stamina ability by 80% for 5 seconds instead of reducing the cost of all stamina abilities used within 3 seconds by 80%. Damn, that nerf to stamina. Rip, dude. Unchained only affects one stamina ability after you CC break. So you better make it worth it. Cast that shuffle, cast that retreating maneuvers. That is a huge nerf for stamina. And I like it. I like it. I play a lot of stamina. I like this nerf. I don't like the idea of having such easy sustain because of it. Dark Anchors, monsters, monster abilities. Where are the sets? Where are the sets? We're almost done here with this. Is my PTS loading? I gotta reopen this, I think. I don't think it was loading. Is it live? Like, what is going on here? Do I just click play? Will it work? We'll figure it out. Itemization. Item set procs which deal damage or healing can no longer critically strike. Alright. Bara's Curse. Fixed an issue where this item set proc could not fire from light or heavy attacks. Black Rose. This item set 4-piece now grants maximum magicka instead of maximum stamina. Nice. Nice. It makes it more of like a magicka and stamina set instead of just purely magicka. I mean, purely stamina. So that's a good change, in my opinion. If you don't... Honestly, at this point, if you're in heavy armor and you're a stamina build, you might as well run Fury set instead of Black Rose. And now Black Rose comes in jewelry as well. Might have to try it on my DK. Elfbane. Fixed an issue where the set's item bonus was not increasing the duration of many flame damage abilities, including Magma Armor, Firestorm, and Wall of Fire. Engine Guardian. The Dwemer Sphere summoned by this item set proc now despawns when it expires. Infernal Guardian. Oh god, Infernal, I hate you. Fixed an issue where this item set's proc would remove stealth enemies from sneak or invisibility. We also fixed an issue where this item set proc was ignoring line of sight. Thank you. Thank you. Hissbark. Fixed an issue where the major evasion proc granted by this item set could be permanently applied in rare circumstances. Knight Errant. This set found in Blackheart no longer drops on weapons other than one-handed weapons and shields. That makes sense because you have to use, like, you have to cast Ransack for it to proc anyway, so why would it drop in any other set? Kind's Kiss. This bow-specific set will no longer appear for weapons other than bows. Cool. Maelstrom Destruction Staff enchantment. Fixed an issue where this enchantment was not granting you a damage bonus for your light attacks. Alright. Celine. Fixed an issue where this proc could trigger twice. Cool. Viper's Sting. Fixed an issue where this item set could be triggered by poison and disease weapon damage enchantments instead of just melee damage. That's Scribe's build right there. Being completely dumpstered by this change. Not completely. But this kind of gave it a lot more flexibility. Okay, well, UI changes, Alliance War. Alright, crafting. We went through quite a bit right here, guys. We are about to log in to the PTS. And look at the housing changes, look at some of the balance changes, and just see everything firsthand and test some things that we went over. This is quite a bit of patch notes. Gina, I don't know how you do it, but goddamn, that's a lot of writing. I'm impressed. Thank you so much for providing these patch notes for us every patch, Gina. Appreciate that tremendously. The PTS is not currently live, but that concludes our review of the patch notes for Homestead PTS. A lot of good things, a few questionable things, but mainly a lot of good things from what I've seen. Mainly a lot of good things. The housing, the social aspect of it is great. The Cyrodiil changes are great. The Telvar and AP flexibility and options are great. Balance changes, I'm a little underwhelmed with the DK changes. Not gonna lie, I don't like that they nerfed Standard of Might. I understand they probably nerfed it from a PvE perspective. The coagulating blood giving you heals based off of your missing magicka. I don't know about that. I don't. The thing is, like, that's not even good for stamina DKs. Some people said, oh, it's good for stamina DKs because it's based off of missing magicka. So stamina DKs usually have 10k magicka. You know, even if they have 0 magicka, it's still 10% of 10k or 33% of 10k. It's not a lot. Plus, it gets cut in half. Standard got nerfed probably for PvE reasons. Doesn't even get used in PvP. So now it's not. Now it's definitely not going to get used in PvP. Fiery grip speed bonus. Cool. I like it. The problem I have with fiery grip is, like, usually, okay, so just to give you a comparison. First of all, like, that's basically my overall. Like, a lot of good things, some questionable things, some meh bad things, but a lot of good things. And I'm excited, especially about housing. Like, the social aspect, the guild aspect of it, that's great. I love it. The Cyrodiil changes are great. The Telvar changes are great. So most of this is actually really good, and it's a step in the right direction. So that's my review for Homestead PTS. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave comments down below because I'm going to be posting this on YouTube if you want to discuss it any further. Thank you guys so much for watching.